Hey, this is Uthris, and we are back in Men of War Assault Squad 2, the map editor, and we are making a new map, or at least starting on it. This is going to be a 4v4. It's going to be rather large, I think in terms of size compared to the last one. It is about twice, if not more, in size, area, total. It's going to be a map for RobZ, his realism mod, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the best mods out right now. So big shout out to him for making that and everything. Really appreciate him making that mod for this game, because really it just improves it so much that it's a little ridiculous. So what we're gonna see here is a speed build of laying out these paths. We are in a massive valley, and I have been working on the terrain, and we will be most likely doing a skip from the speed build to the later half when we kind of do a little bit of a summary of what happened. And essentially where we are, we're in Okinawa, and this is based off the mountains in Okinawa, not in a specific spot, but it is kind of definitely referencing that. So very hilly, mountainy, narrow pathing, and we're having to test the path over and over. As you can see, I'm constantly bringing that light tank up and down this path to make sure none of the rocks are interfering with the automatic pathing of the AI, because it's going to be a big challenge to do that. And also, we are, instead of using texture for the hillsides and mountainsides, I'm actually going in and manually placing an actual rock facade. This is a very time-consuming thing, but I think it's, in my opinion, the best thing. The way the textures stretch on the hillsides don't look very good, so this is kind of my solution for what to do here. And eventually, I'll have enough variation in facades built up to where I can copy and paste and use that a lot throughout. And we are mixing, though, these brown stones and these white stones kind of together to get a different feel in areas. It's going to be mainly these brown stones, because really that's the most varied stone that we do have based in the game. So sadly, you're not going to see a lot more than what looks like to be just limestone, sandstone kind of rock outcrops, with the occasional, in my opinion, I guess that kind of looks like granite, just poking up through in areas just to try and break up the color in spots. So a lot of this is just manual kind of rock laying for a long time. In fact, you'll see how far we are at the end of this. This is multiple days, multiple hours, just constantly. I've been just working on this here and there in my spare time in between episodes of like Planet Coaster and Scrap Mechanic. And whenever I have time, I'm trying to progress this map as quickly as possible in that spare time. There goes the tank again. It's so cool to see the tank go up and down this path. We're going to add some foliage, of course. It's going to be a very dense kind of rural area, so very thick tree placements, even some trees going up the hillside to make it look a little bit more green up there, and to break up the rocks as well, which it does a great job at that. We don't have a lot of Japan specific trees either, so I'm trying to at least make the color palette match as best as possible, and we're using a bunch of shrubberies and grasses to make it look even more just part of a mountainside path that's just been there for a while, and now you gotta start defending it. The map layout, two mountainsides across from each other, valley in the middle, and of course the main objective is going to be holding the valley and trying to score points that way. But as you can see, just because of how hilly everything is, it's going to be quite the challenge for each team to get down there and establish a foothold while being constantly bombarded by either artillery or heavy tanks from the hillside itself. And so everyone's going to be dug in. It's going to be a very bloody and hard-fought battle to get up this thing. A neat trick to actually work on the pathing And these white stones are actually causing a little bit of trouble because they're actually a very big rock slide model. And so what I have to do is I have to go underneath the map so I can actually see the base of that model. And then at that point I can see where it's interfering with the path itself. And so that is something, you know, we need to be mindful for. More rocks. We're going to be mixing up the terrain color a little bit here. The pathing is going to be a general darker green and muddy kind of path throughout to try and break it up. I'm also going to try and use some stamps along the base of the rocks to try and bring some different colors in there. As you can see, we're using this kind of darker green that might look a little bit more like moss or something a little bit more natural. And here, this facade of the mountain's pretty tough because we have quite a narrow path here. And so what I have to do is really press them into the mountainside and get it away from the path. In fact, I start them a little bit higher than the path just to give it enough clearance room, and then I use a lot of shrubberies to kind of hide the fact that those rocks are kind of floating a little bit. Hopefully no one's flamethrower is going to expose some of that stuff, but they're all angled. It's not like clipping any like odd or weird shapes, even if you remove the trees. They're just very, very close to the cliffside here, and as close as possible. You can see that tank can't even make it up there yet, and so maybe I'll widen the path just a little bit to try and get that going. The way I did the mountains, by the way, at least the best way that I found to do mountains in most games, is you do kind of this height map. If you ever look at a topographical map, you're going to run into these height layers. And so the highest point in the map right now is about 1,000 units in the game. I don't really know what that is in meters or anything, but each tiered level that you guys see here right now, it's been smoothed a little bit in this section just to make it work and make it look a little bit more nice, but each tiered section is about 100 units down from each other. So there's about 10 tiers of height to go through from the very bottom to the very top, and then it's a slow build-up process. So I generally start at the highest tier, and then I just kind of draw as if it's a map using topography, and get the height maps laid out and where we want the spines of the mountains to be and things like that. So with that speed build out of the way and a good bit of a skip and add some atmosphere and new lighting, this is currently where we are in Middle Warriors Help Squad. The new map that I am working on, it is, as I said earlier, based on some mountain ranges in Okinawa. I'm not really going to say specifically where, because then you guys will look it up and be like, oh, well, that's obviously wrong. It's just based off of Okinawa, not really a perfect one-to-one off of a specific site there. As you can see, it's going to be quite a lot of work. You guys saw a bunch of stuff being done, trying to kind of get all these rocks and mountains kind of beginning to lay out, which are pretty good. They look really well. The AI can navigate really these paths surprisingly well. And just look at that. Look at that heavy tank just come down this path. And it looks so cool. That is such a nice shot right here. Like this MK2 is just such a beast. There's many ways up and down for now. This is going to be a 4v4. And hopefully you guys can enjoy the basic building process. So far, it is a lot of rocks, and I mean a lot of rocks going into this. Like if I come down here beneath the map, you can see how much rock was actually placed. And I'm hoping by the time we're done, it's not going to absolutely destroy everyone's GPU. And if that's the case, I'll have to cut down the objects at the end just so everything works. So, again, the AI pathing, very much a concern, but a lot of testing has gone into this to try and make it as best as possible. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and give you guys kind of a full view of everything. Actually, what I need to do this, because we have the proper lighting on, is I'm going to save, and then I also need to reload the map. That'll actually get rid of the fog in the atmosphere, so we can actually see a long distance, and you guys can see kind of the full map size to scale. So as you can see, this is a heavy tank here at the bottom of the valley right now. If we just tilt up and zoom out and watch all these objects disappear slowly, you can see just how much I'm going to fill in here. This is a massive, massive ravine, kind of valley in between these two mountainsides. I'm probably going to even have to do some stuff on top here, just so they're not completely flat at that level. But it's looking good. I'm really excited to get this thing out, as RobZ has released his Japanese faction. Finally, everyone gets to be Japanese, and so we're going to be able to enjoy playing Japanese in Okinawa, fighting the Americans or whatever have you. For this, obviously, some sort of valuable valley. I'll have to make something in here. Some reason they're actually fighting in here. I'm not 100% sure just yet. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more creative goodness. Go ahead and hit that like button. Leave a comment down below on what you guys think and what I should be working on next. And I'll see you all next time.